Imagine then in 100 years the shirt you have just bought will have the ability to change colors based on your body temperature, the amount of light hitting the fabric, or simply for a change in style. But what's interesting is that, despite fashion being one of the largest industries in the world today, with projection estimating it to reach $3.3 trillion by 2030, it hasn't seen significant change in the past 2 decades. What does this tell us? Does it mean that fashion is a constant state of stagnation and we will never see anything new again? Actually, no. Today we will talk about the latest technological developments in fashion industry and try to predict what the trends of the future might be. So let's get started. Fashion is not something separate from culture, politics, or society. I would say it's quite the opposite. Every fashion trend is a product of global moods. For example, the suffragette movement was closely related to women's unwillingness to wear restrictive and uncomfortable clothing at the time, as women sought not only moral but also physical freedom. So, the first thing we need to understand for analyzing future trends is what factors influence these fashion trends and how trends are formed. This will help us envision what clothing of the future might look like. To do this, we need to identify the key contemporary fashion trends and their development today. Keeping the planet healthy is becoming really important. In the world of fashion, more and more brands are starting to do things that are good for their environment. They are making clothes that you can use again and again and even turn into something else, instead of just throwing them away. It's all about being kind to our planet. As people become more aware of the environment, there will be a growing demand for eco-friendly ways to make clothes. Technology can help meet this demand by creating new materials and introducing new production methods that reduce waste and environmental impact. For example, advancement in biotechnology and nanotechnology could lead to the development of durable materials. The global nanotechnology clothing market is expected to grow by 24.6% for today until 2027. Reaching an estimated value of $17 and $22 billion. Clearly, this is the future of fashion. So, with that in mind, let's take a look at the technology that will shape the fashion of the future. Technological progress has had a significant impact on the fashion industry, both in items of production and design. This is something that will continue as we look into the future of fashion. There are some really cool things happening with objects that can change colors. For instance, researchers at MIT came up with something called ColorFab 3D. This technology prints 3D objects with photochromic ink that change color when exposed to certain wavelengths of UV light. One of their first items produced was the ring that can be programmed into a number of customizable colors. Google fans may soon be able to wear clothing made by the digital tech giant. They have this project called acquainted that uses special threads to make fabric that can sense touch. So your clothes could become like touchscreens. But that's not all. The team of acquainted is also working on something called EBB. It's fabric that can change colors, maybe even to match your mood or the surrounding vibe. Imagine your car changing color when you get a call or using colors to do things on your phone. Personalization and customization will become more common. As technology enables more personalized and customized products, customers will increasingly demand clothes that fit their individual preferences and needs. Imagine having clothes that just for you like a perfect fit, or getting the edition for clothes that you love based on what you like. Even 3D printing can be used to create clothes that are uniquely yours. 3D printing is like a super tool for fashion stores. It can help them make clothes that are super personalized and also eco-friendly, which is many what people want nowadays. With 3D printing, you can take a fancy design from a computer and have a machine make it perfectly. This means fewer mistakes and less waste when making clothes. Right now, 3D printing in fashion is mostly used for special things. Designer Ashley Levin has created one-off pieces for music stars such as Grimes, Lady Gaga, and Lil Nas X, for example. But innovative brands hope to bring 3D printed clothing for everyone. There is a startup called 3D Techs, and they want to make 8,000 simple clothes every year using 3D knitting. Digitalization and technology will play a big role. As technology gets even fancier, it's going to become a big part of the fashion world. That means more digital stuff in how clothes are made and sold. Imagine trying on clothes using cool computer tricks like augmented reality and virtual reality. And behind the scenes, smart machines powered by artificial intelligence will help make clothes better and get them you faster. Considering that right now 71% of customers are ready to buy more for brands that offer extra features like augmented reality. During New York Fashion Week, Macy Williams used holograms to display its latest designs, accessible to those at home in full 330 degrees through a smartphone. However, the most anticipated use of AR in fashion is virtual try-on. Leading retailers such as Gap are exploring these, having recently launched an app that allows customers to visualize digital garments on their bodies. Robots and other automated systems can handle repetitive and tough tasks, which means people can focus on more creative and skilled jobs. This leads to faster and more efficient production, cutting down the time and cost involved in making things. It involves using technologies like artificial intelligence and machine learning to optimize production process and supply chains. Plus, blockchain technology is making supply chains transparent and secure. As technology keeps getting better, there will be new opportunities and possibilities for innovation in the fashion industry. This means fashion can create new products, products, and business models. Second-hand and rental fashion will become more popular. As people care more about environment and saving money, we can expect second-hand and rental fashion to become really trendy. This might mean more online places to rent clothes and more choices for affordable and eco-friendly fashion. At the same time, the younger generation that who want to stand out from the crowd, are looking for products that can customize their specific needs and preferences. Additionally, mass market and fast fashion seems to be losing popularity, but that's a topic for another video. As customers become more aware, second-hand and rental clothing is likely to become more even popular. This could mean a shift towards online rental platforms and the creation of more durable and affordable ways to use clothing sustainably. For example, former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom Boris Johnson supports his wife, who often rents clothing for public events. For instance, at the Climate Conference in Glasgow in 2021, his suit for the brand Oliver Brown cost only $40 per day to rent. Gender-neutral and inclusive fashion will become more mainstream. The fashion industry is likely to become more inclusive, with a greater focus on gender-neutral and size-inclusive clothing. This includes a more away from traditional gender norms and the creation of more inclusive and diverse collections. Today, more and more people want to express their individuals through their style without sticking to fast fashion trends or belonging to specific subcultures. Clothing is becoming a way to show their inner visions through visual expression, and this trend is just getting started. So now we have covered the main trends, and let's imagine what fashion will look like in 100 years. Fashion in the future could be very different from anything we can imagine right now. Factors like COVID-19 and the war in Ukraine, which could potentially lead to more significant global crisis, might reshape society in ways we couldn't have predicted. As society progresses, people are starting to realize that the quantity of clothing you own may not be so important as the overall quality. This is especially true in Western Europe. Vintage 19th t-shirts, for instance, are hugely popular there, not just because they are old, but also because of the quality of the materials. But I'll dive into this topic more in the future video where I'll talk about vintage and fast fashion. Modeled after the sleek form of smartphones and other tech devices, the fashion industry may be heading toward the use of futuristic-looking clothing. Inspired by the smooth, modern design of smartphones and other tech gadgets, the fashion world might be moving toward using clothing that looks futuristic. In this upcoming style, you can expect to see metallic colors, various shades of black, and sleek, streamlined shapes. If you are someone who doesn't like wearing the same outfit again and again, there is a futuristic fashion trend just for you. Clothes made especially for virtual reality glasses could be the next big thing. Fashion optimized by the use of this technology will allow onlookers to see their clothing in a different form than what the person may actually be wearing. For example, a person may be wearing a white shirt, but when onlookers have glasses on, the clothing may appear to change color or have an extension only visible through the lens. To make fashion more eco-friendly and reduce waste, clothing might soon be tailored to fit each person perfectly. In the future, companies could use technology to scan your body for measurements and then create clothes just for you. This new approach would cut down on mass production and have a big positive impact on the environment. Right now, the fashion industry uses a whopping 79 billion cubic meters of water each year. But with technology, clothes would only be made when a scan is done, so water and materials would only be used when needed. The other added bonus of this method is customers have customized clothing. Digital clothing is something we'll likely see very soon, and it's a hot topic in future fashion trends. This kind of clothing isn't physical, it's not made from any fabric. Instead, it's created with pixels using 3D software and computer tech, so you won't actually wear digital clothes in real life. However, you only need to look at the rise of NFTs to see that this is where the future is heading. People will be able to try on digital clothes before they try a real version to see whether or not it suits them. Recently, companies have started using smart materials to build their clothing and products, which will be able to collect data on the person wearing the pieces. For example, Nike is developing basketball shoes called Nike Adapt BB that can track how a person feet more and give information about whether the person might get hurt while playing. Looking at this way, fashion in the future could be more connected and interactive than even before. The pandemic is changing customer shopping behavior. It may be everlasting as customers are choosing necessities over materialistic items. Fast fashion marketing itself as being the most updated trend style at the time, hence the reasoning to buy. People in the future may be not looking for that, in exchange for some stable luxury clothing instead. This is a significant moment because, as I mentioned before, fashion isn't separate from the real world. It doesn't happen in Barbie land. It always transforms during times of political and social crisis. So in the future, people will likely not buy fast fashion but will prefer well-made, non-mass market clothing. This shift might lead to the decline of giants like Zara or H&M. On the other hand, these brands can also adapt along with society and offer well-made, durable, affordable clothing that can be used multiple times and recycled. Quarantine turned many people towards crafts and clothing, handmaking their own clothes. as constant reports have shown an increase in second-hand markets, and this shows no signs of slowing down. Because the value of human labor is constantly increasing, and this trend is not going to stop either. In addition, it's the main one in the entire modern economy. Artificial intelligence is making waves in the fashion industry, and it might soon give clothes the power to change colors, adjust temperature, and resize. While this might be more of a fabric trend for 2050 rather than 2023, it's definitely on the horizon. Imagine this technology woven into the fabric, reacting to your body temperature and the light around you. For instance, your future outfit might turn from black to white on a sunny day when it senses your body getting warmer. Or during a workout, your clothing could become more elastic, then return on its original shape afterward. We can't say for sure when these products will hit the market, but smart materials companies are actively working on these chameleon-like designs. When it comes to the fashion of the future, 2050 could usher in a whole new level of extravagant clothing. I'll disappoint all the minimalism and pastel color enthusiasts right now, as minimalism is losing its popularity rapidly, and it's unlikely to change in the coming decades. Current trends already show a growing interest in bright, contrasting colors and bold visual choices, and this is expected to continue for the next 100 years. Society is constantly seeking unique ways to showcase individual style, and just imagine the possibilities when there are no barriers to access in such manufacturing. Cosplay is already very popular today, but crafting a high-quality fantasy costumes takes a lot of time and money. Picture how diverse individual style could become when creative, intricate, and comfortable costumes become quick and affordable. Whether it's cosplay or versatile fashion, boldness will be the leading factor in the design of future clothing. So my future fashion innovators, don't stay on the sidelines of today, it will help you feel the future better. And friends, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit the notification bell, leave comments, and suggest your fashion topics. We'll explore them together. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.